comes to Rufai, what do you think about Rufai? Just short version, really.
I could spend an hour talking about what I think about Rufai. I mean, if you want to know what I think about Rufai, you should go watch the documentary which I published on my West Africa Weekly channel in December. It was called Southern Kaduna Blood, Tears, Anger. And that documentary will basically give you all the answers that you need about who and what Nasir El-Rufai is. Nasir El-Rufai, the reason I think of him as a specifically such a dangerous person is not just the fact that sorry, give me a sec. It's not just the fact of his complicity or his involvement in the genocidal violence in Southern Kaduna, or the fact that a personal friend of mine, Ibanga Isine, is also a journalist, was forced to flee Nigeria. He was forced to leave his family and flee the country because he wrote a 4-part story about the killings in Southern Kaduna. And in the space of 4 days, 6 of his 7 sources dropped dead, one after the other. And an attempt was made on his own life. And he had to run away from the country. And it's currently under protection. Wow. You know, so there are so many issues for the reasons why another friend of mine, Stephen Kefas, also had to flee the country because of Nasir El-Rufai. You know, and before I fled the country, I already had run-ins with this fellow. One of the things that I did when I was part of the research team that put together the Silent Slaughter report in 2019 was we went to Kaduna State. Kaduna was where much of the report focused on. I went to a place called Kajuru in the aftermath of one of these attacks, and we documented the first time in my life I ever smelled what burning human flesh smells like. It's an absolutely revolting smell.
Wow.
Right, it was in Kajuru. The first time I saw what the corpse of a child looks like, that was in Kajuru. So that's what I think about Nasir El-Rufai. So, but the reason I especially think of him as such a dangerous person, in addition to all of that, is that he's one of the few public officials in Nigeria who is also able to cover his brutality and his animal nature with a veneer of intellectualism. So he knows he sponsors book fairs. He's the patron to a lot of supposed public intellectuals. He endows a scholarship at Oxford here, St. Andrew's College at the University of Oxford, £92,000 a year. He has a seat on the International Advisory Board at the African Studies Center at the University of Oxford. You know, this thing called so if you're familiar with how the Saudi and Qatari royal families use sports to do this thing called sport washing. You could call this book washing, right? It's basically academic, what's the term for it now? Reputation management, or there's a specific term for it. It's not influence peddling. There's a term for it. I forget the name. Image laundering. That's the term. So he's one of the few people who actually knows how to do these things. He has these connections. So the civil society organizations, Rufai is deeply embedded in a lot of them. I remember I did a story last year about Amnesty International Nigeria and how the former media officer, Issa Sanusi, was an Rufai operative inside Amnesty International. So something would happen to you. Maybe your community was attacked by these killer herdsmen in Southern Kaduna. You'd get interviewed by a researcher at Amnesty International. And then this media officer at Amnesty International would try and get access to the researchers' information because they work in the same office, and potentially pass this across to Rufai. So you know, he knows things he shouldn't know. He has access to information other people don't have access to. He's a genuinely dangerous person. So, you know, unlike someone like Wike, who is just a thug. You know, Wike is not an intelligent man. He's just a thug. All he has is just violence. That's it. Take that away from him, he has nothing. You know, Rufai is also a thug, but in addition to being a thug, he's an intelligent thug. So that makes him a lot more dangerous. He's every bit the animal that Wike is, but he also has all the brains that Wike does not have. That's what makes him so dangerous. He has cleverly insinuated himself into so many different aspects of respectable Nigerian life. He has a daughter or a niece who is now a partner at PwC. Wow. You know, there, what's it called? Advisory arm. She's a partner there. You know, probably this person is not probably the most qualified person to be partner, but guess what? Every single advisory contract from Kaduna State government goes to PwC. So she's bringing in the business. So she becomes partner. From there, because she has this sort of profile that has been built artificially, she can say, I'm a partner at PwC. The next thing is going to government, become some DG or some chairperson, you know, become something, you understand? And that's how you build and consolidate power that you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So that's why El Rufai is such a specifically dangerous person. It's not just for the fact that he goes after people and gets people killed. It's also the fact that even the internationals, I mean, look what happened to me. In February, they tried to light me on fire here. You know, they came, till today, they are still, if you go around Twitter and Facebook, you still see sponsored posts with my name on it saying they expelled from Oxford, blah, blah, blah. You know, I never even had anything to do with Oxford. My fellowship was at Cambridge. Yeah. But because I had a book launch at Oxford, these people went and he's embedded at Oxford. Yeah. They went and activated their assets there. You know, people that he has financial relationships with there, like Prof. Miles Larmer at the African Studies Center, was the one who was front and center of this effort to blacken my name. You know, and then, you know, Onyeka and Wele, we pour him, he became the collateral damage in all of this. Because I was the actual target there, not Onyeka. It was actually me. That was the target. And he was the, you know, collateral damage who ended up getting his reputation in the UK destroyed for absolutely nothing, right? And, you know, even though what they were trying to do didn't really work, they were trying to portray me in a manner that wasn't true. This man went to the extent of till today, there's a running battle on my Wikipedia page. My Wikipedia page has been locked, but there's still a running battle with people argue, like, so for example, the claim that I was kicked out of Cambridge, for example, it's on my Wikipedia page till today. No such thing happened. I was never kicked out of Cambridge. I completed my fellowship, but it still says my Wikipedia page that I was kicked out of Cambridge. You know, and you know, because I've gone through the edits. You know, some people have contested it, and then there's this one editor who I'm obviously must be working on that payroll because there's no other reason for it to be so committed to this thing.
Of course. Who
keeps insisting that no, this thing was reported in one student blog at Oxford, so therefore that makes it true. You know, so that's the extent to which these people are willing to go, and that's why they are such a nightmare.
No, thank you. No, honestly, David, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Where can someone get your Substack, right?
Yes, so that's westafricaweekly.substack.com.
Yeah, I'm also going to put this book, The Jungle. You talked about Onyeka. Onyeka helped to publish it as well. It's a very good
Baby Man Publishing.
Yeah, it's a powerful book. I mean, I think it goes into everything that we didn't go into in this.
Exactly.
And I believe that we'll probably do this again if you want.
So. And just for the benefit of the audience, the book is available. If you are outside Nigeria, it's available on Amazon, amazon.co.uk. If you are in Nigeria, it's available on Roving Heights.
Yeah. Books. David, thank you so much. It's an honor. You're a good friend of mine. You do incredible work, and hopefully people are going to support you and read what you write. And all we want is a better Nigeria. That's what we want. Whether we do it through ABC.
Exactly.
So any vehicle that we take us there.
There are many ways to kill a cat.
Exactly. Any vehicle that will take us there, we'll do it. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
All right.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you.